Leo was thrilled that Friday. He had closed the biggest deal of his career at the tech company. He left work 2 hours early, bought red roses and a bottle of champagne. He was smiling on his way home, imagining Chloe's surprise. Leo was 31 years old. Before the depression, he weighed 308 pounds. Chloe had been with him for 3 years. She didn't work, and Leo never complained. He made enough money for both of them. When he opened the apartment door, he heard laughter coming from the bedroom, laughter he knew well. His heart sank. Leo walked slowly down the hallway, holding the flowers in the bag. The bedroom door was ajar. Chloe was in bed with Ryan. Ryan, his best friend since they were 12. Leo just stood there, unable to process what he was seeing. Ryan turned his head and saw him. For a second, he looked startled. But only for a second. "Dude, Chloe covered herself with the sheet. But she didn't seem ashamed. She looked at Leo with a coldness he had never seen before. "Seriously, Leo, did you really think I was going to stay with you forever? Look at you. Look at Ryan. We were just waiting for the right moment." Ryan laughed. "Dude, my bad, but let's be real here. No one else would want you anyway. You should be grateful for the time she stayed." The flowers fell from Leo's hand. The bottle of champagne rolled across the floor. Leo didn't say anything. He turned his back and left. He got in his car, locked the doors, and it was only when he was alone that the tears started to fall. He started the car and drove aimlessly. Ryan's words echoed in his head. "No one else would want you anyway." Leo drove around the city all night. He drove past the school where he had met Ryan. He passed the movie theater from his first date with Chloe. Every place was like a knife to the heart. He stopped at a gas station at 4 in the morning. He had 17 messages on his phone, 5 from Chloe, 3 from Ryan. He didn't open any of them. He turned off his phone. He went back to the apartment as the sun was coming up. He grabbed the biggest suitcase and threw clothes inside. He didn't fold anything. Chloe wasn't there. Neither was Ryan. Leo looked around the apartment. He had lived there for 2 years, chosen the furniture, painted the walls. It was all a lie now. He sat on the couch and turned on his phone for just one thing. He logged into the company's system and requested a transfer to the regional office. It was in Santa Cruz, California. He had always refused to go there because Chloe didn't want to leave the city. Now he had no reason to stay. At 7 in the morning, he received the confirmation. Transfer approved. He could start on Monday. Leo put the suitcase in his car and drove to his mother's house. She opened the door in a bathrobe. "Leo, what happened?" "I'm leaving, Mom. I'm moving to another city." "What? But why?" Leo couldn't tell her. "I have to. I'll call you when I get there, okay?" He hugged her before she could insist. He got in the car and drove. He drove away from everything his life had been. He didn't look in the rearview mirror, not even once. Santa Cruz was beautiful. It had a beach, a boardwalk, a peaceful vibe. Leo rented a small apartment, 1 bedroom, a living room, a kitchen. It was all he needed. For the first few days, he tried to keep a routine. Work, home, work. But slowly, he started to fall apart. He stopped cooking, ordered delivery every day. Pizza, burgers, Chinese food. He stopped going out on weekends. He'd just stay on the couch, watching shows without paying attention. He stopped answering calls. His mom called every week, and he always said everything was fine. His co-workers tried to reach out. They invited him to happy hour, to lunch. Leo always made an excuse. He didn't want anyone to really get to know him, because people would notice the obvious, that he was worthless. Leo avoided mirrors. He avoided store windows. When he had to shower, he'd get in without looking at his own body. When he changed clothes, he did it in the dark. When the betrayal happened, he weighed 308 pounds. In 4 months of depression, he gained another 18 pounds, reaching 326 pounds. He realized why his work pants no longer fit. He had to buy bigger sizes. He was sinking into a dark, cold hole, until one Saturday morning he needed to go to the grocery store. There was nothing left in the fridge. He put on an old sweatshirt, a baseball cap, and left. He bought the basics: rice, beans, bread, soda. On his way back he saw the sign, "Thrive Fitness, first 30 days free." Leo stopped. The gym had a glass storefront. He saw people working out inside. A young woman on the treadmill, a guy lifting weights, an older woman stretching. They were all sweating. They were all smiling. Something inside him stirred, a small, faint spark. But it was there. Leo stood on the sidewalk. He looked at the door. He almost left. He almost kept walking. But then he thought, what if I tried? And before he could change his mind, he opened the door and went inside. The air conditioning hit Leo's face as he walked in. It smelled like cleaning supplies and rubber. Music was playing softly. He just stood there, not knowing what to do. "Hi, welcome," a woman called out from the front desk. She was smiling. She had brown hair tied back in a ponytail, toned arms and kind eyes. "Hi," Leo replied quietly. She stood up and walked over to him. "First time here? I'm Maya, personal trainer and nutritionist." She held out her hand. Leo shook it. "Leo. Nice to meet you, Leo. Did you see the sign for the free 30-day trial?" "I did." "Perfect. Have you ever worked out before?" "No, never." "That's okay. We'll start from scratch. Want to sit down for a bit so we can talk?" Leo looked around. He expected someone to look at him judgmentally, but no one was paying attention. People were focused on their own workouts. "Sure." Maya led him to a small office, a desk, 2 chairs, anatomy posters on the wall. "Have a seat. I'm just going to ask a few basic questions, okay? Just so I can put together the right workout plan for you." Leo sat down. The chair creaked. He felt embarrassed, but Maya didn't react. She asked the routine questions: health issues, medications, diet, job. It was all very practical, very direct. Leo started to relax. Then she set her clipboard down on the table. "Can I ask you a more personal question?" His heart started to race. "Sure. What brought you in today?" Leo fell silent, looking down at his hands. Should he tell her? A complete stranger. But something about Maya made him feel he could trust her, and he was tired of holding it all in. "I went through something bad a few months ago." Maya waited, and Leo began to talk. "I had a girlfriend. We were together for 3 years, and a best friend since we were kids." Leo kept looking at his hands. 4 months ago, I came home early with flowers and champagne. I was going to celebrate, and they were in my bed. My girlfriend and my best friend." His voice broke. "She didn't even care, said she was just waiting for the right moment to break up." And he laughed. "Said no one else would ever want me anyway, that I should be grateful." The tears came. Leo tried to hold them back, but he couldn't. "I requested a transfer at work and left. I barely told anyone. I just left." He looked at Maya. He expected to see pity, but that wasn't it. Her eyes were welling up too. "Leo, I'm so sorry. I really am." Her voice came out steady. "Can I tell you something?" Leo nodded. 5 years ago, I was engaged. 2 weeks before the wedding, I found out my fiancé was with the maid of honor, my best friend. They were going to run off together afterward and take the honeymoon money. Leo's eyes widened. "I called everything off. I lost money, friends, trust. And so I ate. I gained 55 pounds in 6 months. I fell into a deep depression." "And what did you do?" "I looked in the mirror one day and realized I was destroying myself over 2 people who weren't worth anything. So I decided I wasn't going to let them have power over me anymore. That's when I started working out." Maya leaned forward. "You know what I've learned? People who shame you for your body can't see character, intelligence, loyalty. You know why? Because they don't have any of that. All they have is their looks, and looks get old. They fade. They go away. But what you have in here, she pointed to his chest, no one can take that away. Leo felt a lump in his throat. Can I ask you one more thing? Go ahead. Do you want to change because you want to, or because you want to prove something to them? Leo thought carefully before answering. I want to change for me. I want to look in the mirror and like who I see. I want to stop hiding. I want to live again. Maya smiled. All right, let's get started. But let me warn you, Leo, it's going to hurt. You're going to get tired. There are going to be days when you want to quit. And I'll be here to remind you why you started. She wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to him. A simple workout plan. Monday, 8 a.m. I'll be here waiting for you. We're going to do this together, okay? Leo took the plan. His hands were shaking, but it wasn't from fear. It was from hope. Okay. Leo left the gym 10 minutes later. When he got home, he stood in the living room with the workout plan in his hand. Monday, 8 in the morning. Leo looked at the hallway mirror. He saw an overweight man with tired eyes and slumped shoulders. No one else would want you anyway. Ryan's voice still echoed in his head. Leo took a deep breath. He carefully folded the plan and stuck it on the fridge with a magnet. On Monday, he would find out if he had the courage. Monday, 7:50 in the morning. Leo was standing in front of the gym with his backpack on. He weighed 326 pounds. He'd put on an old pair of shorts and a t-shirt that barely fit him. He almost left about 3 times. But then the door opened and Maya appeared. Leo, you came. Her smile was genuine. Leo took a deep breath and went inside. All right, let's start slow, okay? Maya led him to a treadmill. 10 minutes of a light walk. Leo got on the treadmill. For the first 5 minutes, everything was fine. By the 6th minute, sweat started to drip. By the 8th, he was panting. By the 10th, his legs were shaking. Great job! You did it! Maya turned off the treadmill. Now for some light exercises. She showed him a few moves. Bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, crunches with his knees bent. Leo could barely do 3 reps of each. His body ached, his chest burned. When the workout was over, he was drenched and embarrassed. Monday, Wednesday and Friday, same time. Maya handed him a water bottle. And I'll email you a meal plan today. Leo nodded, too out of breath to speak. It was like that for the first few weeks. Leo would show up, work out, and leave exhausted. The meal plan was simple. Fruit and whole wheat toast for breakfast, rice, beans, meat, and a salad for lunch. A light dinner, no soda, no fried food. But Leo was hungry, not a physical hunger. It was a mental hunger, an anxious hunger. At night alone, he'd stare at the fridge. He'd think about pizza, about burgers, about giving up. In the 3rd week, he didn't show up on Monday. He stayed home, telling himself he deserved a break. At 9 in the morning, his phone rang. It was Maya. Hey, Leo, is everything okay? I'm just a little tired. I get it. Everyone has off days, but you're coming back tomorrow, right? We'll keep going. I don't know, Maya. I don't think it's working. Leo, it's been 3 weeks. Nobody changes in 3 weeks. Her voice became firm. You promised you'd try, and I promised I'd be here. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock, I'll be waiting. She hung up. Leo stared at his phone. Tomorrow, would he go back? 2 months later, Leo got on the scale. 309 pounds, 18 pounds down. Leo, look at this! Maya clapped. 18 pounds, that's incredible! But it didn't feel like a victory. 18 pounds is nothing when you're starting from 326. What do you mean it's nothing? You're getting active, taking care of yourself, coming here 3 times a week. That's huge. The weeks went by. The workouts got easier. 15 minutes on the treadmill, 10 wall push-ups, eating without feeling starved. But one weekend, Leo found an old flash drive. He plugged it into his laptop. It was photos. Hundreds of photos of him with Ryan. 20 years of friendship. The pain came back. It came back with a vengeance. Leo closed the laptop and grabbed his phone. He ordered pizza, a burger, fries, and ice cream, and he ate it all. He ate until he couldn't anymore, until his stomach hurt. He looked at the sea of empty containers and felt disgusted with himself. The taste of the food was still in his mouth, but it wasn't pleasure, it was defeat. He started to cry. The next morning, he woke up with a dry mouth and a heavy head. He had a workout at 8 a.m. He thought about not going. He thought about giving up. But he remembered Maya's voice. "I promised I'd be here." Leo got up and went. When he arrived, Maya was already waiting. She took one look at him and knew. What happened? Leo lowered his head. "I screwed up yesterday. I ate a ton of junk food." He expected her to be mad, but Maya just shrugged. "So what?" Leo looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" "You slipped up. It happens. Now get up and keep going." She pointed to the treadmill. "Let's work out." "But Leo, listen. Everyone slips up. It's not about never falling down. It's about always getting back up." She looked him in the eye. "You know, I never told you their names. The fiancé was Rick, the best friend Jessica. When I found out they were cheating, I spent 6 months eating like crazy. Every day it was cake, chocolate, chips. I gained 55 pounds. And you know what made me change? I got tired of hurting. I was tired of destroying myself over 2 people who couldn't care less about me." Maya took a deep breath. "They got married 3 months later, and you know what I did? Nothing. I left them there, while I rebuilt my life. Chloe and Ryan don't deserve a second of your time. You're here because you decided you're worth it. Don't let a setback take that away from you." She held out her hand. "Ready to train?" Leo took her hand. That day, they trained together. Maya did the exercises with him. They talked between sets. She told him about the gym she dreamed of opening. He told her about his projects at work. For the first time in months, Leo laughed, a real laugh. When it was over, he realized something. He wasn't alone. 6 months at the gym. Leo had lost 50 pounds. He was down to 278 pounds. His clothes were loose, his face was thinner. He could climb stairs without getting winded, tie his shoes without losing his breath. At work, his colleagues complimented him. They asked what he was doing. Leo would talk about the gym with a shy smile. He was starting to believe. Until one Friday night, he got a text from an old co-worker. "Hey, Leo, saw Chloe and Ryan at the mall today. They were having a huge fight, right in front of everyone. Thought you'd want to know." Leo's heart raced. He spent the night thinking about it. Barely slept. On Saturday morning, he arrived at the gym tense, distracted. "Morning? Ready to work out?" I guess so." During the workout, Leo messed up the moves. Forgot the sequence. He was completely unfocused. Maya stopped everything. "Let's go outside for a bit." They sat on a bench in front of the gym. "What's going on?" Leo told her about the message, about the fight, about the sleepless night. "And why did it get to you so much?" "I don't know. I should be happy they're fighting, right? But I'm just confused." Maya was silent for a moment. "You know what I think? I think a part of you still wants them to be happy because that would mean you weren't left for nothing. That there was a reason. That they really loved each other." Leo looked at her, surprised. "But the truth is, people who cheat don't love anyone, Leo. Not even the person they cheat with. They only think about themselves. They're going to fight. They're going to break up. They're going to regret it. And it will have nothing to do with you." It's hard not to think about it. I know. But every time you think about them, remember, you've lost 50 pounds. You're stronger. You're healthier. You're building a new life. And them? They're fighting in a mall. Who's winning here? I am. Exactly. So don't let them get in your head again. Leo took a deep breath. She was right. Thank you, Maya. Why do you care so much about me? Maya stopped. For a second it looked like she was going to say something important, but then she smiled. Because I see strength in you, determination, a good heart, and because I don't let my students give up. She walked into the gym. Leo stood there for another second. There was something in her eyes, something in her voice, but he didn't know what it was. In the weeks that followed, something shifted between Leo and Maya. It wasn't just trainer and client anymore. It was friendship. It was a connection. They talked about everything: work, dreams, fears. Leo told her about wanting to start his own business, Maya about wanting to own a chain of gyms, and slowly Leo started to notice something. When she smiled, his day got better. When she touched his arm to correct an exercise, he felt a shiver. When she laughed, he wanted to crack more jokes just to hear that sound, but he was scared of misreading the signs, scared of getting hurt again, scared of losing the only real friendship he had there. So he pushed the feelings under the rug. Until one day, Maya changed his session time. I'm going to have to reschedule your Wednesday session to Tuesday at 7 p.m. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. On Tuesday night, the gym was almost empty. Just one guy on a treadmill way in the back. Sorry about changing the time. I had to fit in another client. They started their workout, but that day, Maya worked out with him. The gym started to empty out. Soon, it was just the two of them. For the first time, Leo felt a different kind of tension in the air. They were doing crunches side by side. Maya was counting out the reps. 15, 16, 17. Leo glanced over. He saw her focused face, her sweaty forehead, her hair sticking to the nape of her neck. She was beautiful, really beautiful, and she was incredible, kind, strong. 20, and we're done. Maya dropped back onto the mat, breathing heavily. That set is a killer. Leo was also lying down, staring at the ceiling. They lay there, catching their breath. Leo, can I ask you something? Sure. Have you ever thought about moving back to your old city? The question caught him by surprise. No. Why? Just curious. Don't you miss it there? I miss my mom. Not the rest of it. What about here? Do you like it here? Leo turned his head. Their eyes met. I like it a lot. He didn't know if he was talking about the city or something else. Maya held his gaze for a second too long. Then she looked away. Good. Let's finish with a stretch. They stretched in silence. But the tension was still there, vibrating. When the workout was over, Leo grabbed his gym bag. At the door, he looked back. Maya had her back to him, organizing the weights. He almost went back, almost said something. But he didn't. That night, Maya got home and sat on the couch, still in her workout clothes. Over the last few months, she had watched Leo change, not just his body, his posture, his smile, his confidence. He was being reborn, and at some point, she had fallen for him. She didn't know when. Maybe the day of the confession, maybe the day of the relapse, maybe during one of their sessions. It didn't matter. It had happened. But she couldn't say anything, because Leo was still healing, still finding himself. And if she said something now, it could ruin everything. So she buried her feelings. She kept being the trainer, the friend, the support, and she waited. Another year passed, a total of 2 years at Thrive Fitness. Leo was down to 205 pounds. He'd lost 121 pounds since he started. He looked in the mirror and barely recognized himself. A defined face, muscular arms, an almost flat stomach. He was a different man. At work, he'd been promoted. 6 months later, he received an offer to become a partner in the company. He accepted. He bought a bigger oceanfront apartment, a new car. He made friends. He went out for walks, to the movies, to restaurants. Leo was living. But there was one thing he didn't do: get involved with anyone. A few women tried to get close. At work, in his building. There was no shortage of interest. But Leo felt nothing. That night, he was lying on the couch in his new apartment, thinking, why couldn't he get interested in anyone? And then he realized. Maya. He thought about her, her smile, her voice, their conversations, the glances that lasted a second too long. Leo was in love with Maya, probably had been for months. He just hadn't admitted it. Because if he admitted it, he'd have to do something, and if he did, he could get hurt again. No one else would want you anyway. Ryan's voice still echoed. What if he tried and Maya rejected him? What if she saw in him what Chloe saw? Leo closed his eyes. No, he wasn't going to risk it. It was better this way, safer. But that night, he couldn't sleep, because deep down, he knew the truth. Chloe still had power over him, and as long as she did, he would never be truly free. Leo was living the best phase of his life. 205 pounds, a partner at the company, a new apartment, an active social life. It was Thursday night when his phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Leo? It's Rick, Ryan's cousin. You remember me? Leo's heart skipped a beat. Rick. Ryan's older cousin, he'd always been closer to Leo than to his own cousin. Rick. Hey, yeah, I remember. Man, sorry to call out of the blue, but I needed to give you a heads up about something. Leo sat down on the couch. Go ahead. It's about Ryan. He's in a really bad way, man. He's been unemployed for about 8 months. Remember that fight at the mall a while back? Well, things have only gotten worse. Chloe kicked him out when she found out he'd been cheating again. That was about 6 months ago. Leo processed the information in silence. Now he's living with my aunt, his mom. He's drowning in debt. And you know the worst part? He's still talking trash about you. Says you were jealous of him. That's why you disappeared. Why are you telling me this? Because he asked to borrow money from me today. I turned him down. And I know Ryan. I know he's capable of trying to hit you up too. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Thanks for the heads up, Rick. You're welcome, man. And look, I always knew you were a good guy. What he did to you was messed up, but what goes around comes around. He's getting his now. They said their goodbyes. Leo hung up and just sat there, phone in his hand. Ryan's life was falling apart. Chloe had kicked him out. He was broke, jobless, with nothing. And Leo? Leo was doing better than ever. But why didn't it bring him any relief? Why did he feel so weird? He picked up his phone and texted Maya. Can I call you? The reply came in seconds. Of course, Leo called. Maya answered on the second ring. Hey, is everything okay? I just got a call. He told her everything, his cousin, the news, getting fired, the eviction, the debts. When he finished, Maya was silent for a moment. And how are you feeling? Confused. I should be happy, right? But I'm just angry. All the anger came rushing back. That's normal, Leo. You were hurt badly. You can't just erase that because time has passed. But I don't want to feel this. I don't want them taking up space in my head again. Then don't let them. Maya's voice grew firmer. Look, you have every right to be angry, but don't let that anger trap you. Ryan is reaping what he sowed. His life is a mess because he made bad choices. It has nothing to do with you. Leo ran a hand through his hair. It's hard not to think about it. I know. But listen, you lost 120 pounds. You're a partner in a company. You have friends, a life, a future. And Ryan, he's living with his mom, in debt to everyone. Who lost out here? Him. Exactly, so forget about it. Focus on your life. Focus on what matters. Okay? Okay. We'll train and talk more tomorrow. Now go to sleep. And Leo? Yeah? I'm proud of you. Leo smiled. Thanks, Maya. For everything. He hung up and stared at his phone. Maya always knew what to say. She was always there. And that night, he fell asleep thinking about her. 3 weeks later, Leo was at the supermarket buying food for his meal plan. Chicken, sweet potatoes, eggs, greens. He turned the corner of the pasta aisle and stopped. There, in the middle of the aisle, was Ryan. But not the Ryan he remembered. This one was thinner, unshaven, old, wrinkled clothes, deep, dark circles under his eyes. Ryan looked up and saw Leo. His eyes widened. Leo. Leo's heart raced. His hands started to sweat. But he didn't look away. Ryan walked over to him, his expression shifting to something between surprise and discomfort. "Man, long time no see. Wow, you look really different." Leo stood still, just staring. "I was thinking about looking you up, you know, so we could talk, catch up. It's been a while, huh? We were best friends, man. Maybe we could—" "No." The word came out cold, firm. Ryan blinked. "What do you mean, no?" "We can't catch up. We can't talk. We can't do anything." Leo turned his back and started to walk away. "Leo, wait!" Ryan yelled after him. "You're not even going to talk to me after everything we've been through?" Leo stopped. He turned slowly. He looked Ryan in the eyes. "We didn't go through anything. You chose this. You chose to cheat. You chose to laugh in my face. You chose to humiliate me. Now live with your choices." He turned his back again, leaving Ryan standing there. He went to the checkout, paid for his groceries, and left. He got in his car, locked the doors, and he started to shake, not from fear, not from sadness. It was adrenaline, it was anger, it was relief. He had faced Ryan. He had looked the man who destroyed him in the eyes and had turned his back. And for the first time in years, Leo felt like he was in control. He picked up his phone with his hands still shaking and called Maya. "Hey, is everything okay? I just ran into Ryan at the supermarket." "What? And what happened?" Leo told her everything. Ryan trying to make small talk, him turning his back, the words he said. When he finished, Maya let out a whoop of celebration. "Leo, you were amazing. Seriously, I'm so proud." "I am too. I felt like I was in control, you know, for the first time." "Because you are. You always have been. You just needed to realize it." They talked for another hour, about the encounter, about how Leo felt, about how liberating it was. And when they hung up, Leo stared at his phone. Maya, always Maya. For the last 2 years, she had been by his side every step of the way, through every fall, through every victory. She had believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. She had held his hand when he wanted to give up. And now, confronting Ryan had made Leo realize something. He wasn't afraid anymore. He wasn't afraid of getting hurt. He wasn't afraid to take a risk. He wasn't afraid to live, because the pain that Chloe and Ryan had caused had faded. It still hurt sometimes, but it didn't control him anymore, and if he could get over that, he could get through anything, including telling the woman he loved how he felt. Leo typed a message. "Are you free for dinner Saturday night?" He sent it before he could change his mind. The reply took 3 minutes, 3 minutes that felt like 3 hours. "Sure. What time?" Leo smiled. "I'll pick you up at 7. "Okay. See you Saturday then." Leo threw his phone on the couch and lay down. His heart was racing. He had just asked Maya out, for real, and she had said yes. It didn't matter if she thought they were just friends. Leo was going to make it clear. He was going to tell the truth. He was going to take a chance, because he'd learned one thing in the past 2 years. Life was too short to be afraid of being happy. Saturday night couldn't come fast enough. Saturday night. Leo spent the whole day on edge. He picked out his outfit 3 times, showered twice, checked his hair in the mirror 1,000 times. At 7 o'clock sharp, he rang the doorbell to Maya's apartment. She opened the door, and Leo almost forgot how to breathe. A simple navy blue dress, her hair loose and falling over her shoulders. A smile that lit up the entire night. "Hey, you look beautiful." "Thanks. You look great too." She grabbed her purse. "Ready?" They went to a restaurant on the waterfront. Tables with an ocean view, low lighting, soft music. They sat near the window. They ordered dinner, and they talked just like they always did, about everything and nothing. They laughed, they teased each other. The conversation flowed naturally. But there was something different in the air, a tension, an expectation. When they finished eating, the waiter came to clear their plates. Leo ordered dessert, Maya ordered coffee, and then Leo took a deep breath. It was now or never. "Maya, I need to tell you something." Her expression turned serious instantly. "Go ahead." Leo held her hand across the table. His heart was pounding so hard, he was sure she could hear it. "I fell in love with you. You saved me, Maya. You made me believe in myself again. And somewhere along the way, I realized you weren't just my trainer. You weren't just my friend. You were the person I wanted to see every day. The person who made my day better just by existing." Maya's eyes widened. "I know you might not feel the same way, and it's okay if you don't. But I had to tell you." "Leo," Maya interrupted, her voice soft. He stopped talking, his heart sinking. She was going to turn him down. But then Maya smiled, and her eyes were shining. "I fell in love with you a long time ago too. I just didn't say anything because I wanted you to find yourself first, for you to know your own worth. And now, you're ready." She squeezed his hand. "You're strong, determined, and kind. You make me want to be a better person. And I admire you so much for everything you've overcome, for everything you've achieved." Tears were streaming down her face now. "I was waiting for you to be ready. And you are." Leo stood up from his chair. He went to her side and kissed her. There, in the restaurant, with the sound of the waves in the background and the moon reflecting on the sea, Leo kissed the woman who had changed his life. And for the first time in 3 years, he felt whole. 3 months later, they were inseparable. They had dinner together. They worked out together. They watched movies on the couch. They walked on the beach, holding hands. Leo had lost another 18 pounds. He was down to 187 now, healthy, strong, happy, and it was on one of those walks that he had an idea. "Maya, what if we opened a gym together?" She looked at him, surprised. "What do you mean?" "I have money saved up from the company. You have the experience. We could be partners, build this together." Her eyes filled with tears. "Are you serious?" "Completely." She jumped into his arms right there in the middle of the beach. Yes, I do." Over the next few months, they opened 3 gyms, small but modern, new equipment, a welcoming atmosphere, a focus on people who wanted a fresh start. It was an immediate success. And one night, after closing up the 3rd location, Leo had been nervous all day. He'd had a small box hidden in his pocket since that morning. He took Maya back to the beach where they had talked about starting the business. There, with the waves crashing on the sand and the stars shining in the sky, Leo got down on one knee. "Maya, you changed my life. You made me believe in myself again, and I want to spend the rest of my life showing you how much you're worth too. Will you marry me?" He opened the small box, a simple, delicate, perfect ring. Maya was crying and smiling at the same time. Yes, 1,000 times yes. They got married 2 months later, a simple ceremony on the beach. Few guests, a lot of happiness. On their wedding day, they opened the 4th Thrive Fitness Gym. A few weeks after the wedding, Leo's phone rang. It was Rick again, after months of not speaking. "Hey, Rick." "Leo, sorry to call again, but I thought you'd want to know. Chloe's pregnant, and Ryan left her when he found out. He's gone, moved away, blocked her, completely vanished. Her family kicked her out too. She's in a shelter for pregnant women. No family, nothing." Leo took a deep breath. "I see. Thanks for letting me know, Rick." When he hung up, Maya was beside him. "Who was that?" "Rick," Leo told her. About the pregnancy, about him leaving, about the shelter. Maya took his hand. "And how are you doing?" "I hope she'll be okay. I really do. But that's not my problem anymore." Maya smiled. I know. They sat there on the couch, holding hands in silence. And he realized he didn't feel anything anymore. Not anger, not satisfaction, not pain, just peace. His life was complete. Chloe and Ryan were just shadows of a past that no longer existed. 3 days later, the apartment doorbell rang, and on the other side of the door was the last person Leo expected to see. 3 days after Rick's call about Chloe, it was a quiet Sunday afternoon. Leo and Maya were on the couch watching a movie. She was lying with her head in his lap. The doorbell rang. I'll get it. Maya got up and went to the door. Leo stayed on the couch. It was probably a delivery. But then Maya came back with a strange expression. Leo, there's a woman here. She says she needs to talk to you, says it's urgent. Leo frowned and went to the door. When he saw who was on the other side, the world stopped. It was Chloe, but not the Chloe he knew. This Chloe was unrecognizable. Too thin, her collarbones jutting out. Deep, dark circles under her eyes. Lifeless hair. Dirty, baggy clothes, and she was pregnant, very pregnant. Her huge belly contrasted with the rest of her skeletal body. Chloe looked at him and started to cry. Leo, I know you don't want to see me. I know you hate me, but I need help. Please. Her voice came out weak, broken. Leo couldn't speak. He just stared. Chloe was there, at his door, pregnant, broken, asking for help after 3 years, after everything. Leo remained still. Maya walked over and placed a hand on his shoulder. A silent gesture of support. Chloe noticed Maya, and her tears flowed faster. Please, Leo. I just need to talk. 5 minutes. I'm begging you. Leo took a deep breath. He looked at Maya. She gave his shoulder a light squeeze and whispered, I'll be in the living room if you need me. He nodded. Let's go out to the balcony. Chloe came inside. She walked through the living room with her head down. Leo led her to the balcony overlooking the ocean. He closed the glass door behind them. Go ahead. Chloe held her belly with both hands, trembling. I don't have anyone else, Leo. No one. I know I don't deserve anything from you. I know I hurt you in a way that's unforgivable. But I'm desperate. What do you want? Ryan left me. When he found out I was pregnant, he just disappeared. He moved away, changed his number, blocked me on everything. My family kicked me out. I'm living in a shelter, Leo. A shelter for pregnant women. I have no money. I have no job. I have no food. I have nothing. Chloe fell to her knees in front of him, her hands clasped as if in prayer. I know I have no right to ask for anything, but I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for the baby. He's not to blame for any of this. Please, Leo, please. Leo looked at her there, on her knees, begging, and he felt nothing. Not anger, not satisfaction, not pity, just an emptiness. Get up. Leo, please. Get up, Chloe. She struggled to her feet, holding her belly. Leo looked at her for a long moment, then he looked into the living room through the glass door. Maya was sitting on the couch, looking at him. Her eyes said, I'm here. And it was in that moment that Leo knew exactly what he was going to do. Leo looked back at Chloe. Sit. She sat in one of the chairs. He sat across from her. You destroyed me, Chloe. You and Ryan made me believe I was worthless. His voice was calm but firm. I moved here alone. I fell into a depression. I gained more weight. I stopped living. I was dying inside. Chloe lowered her head. Until one day I joined a gym and I met an incredible woman. He pointed across the room where Maya was. That woman over there saved me. She showed me I was worth it. She made me believe in myself again, and today I'm happy, I'm fulfilled, I'm truly loved. Leo leaned forward. But to get here, I had to rebuild everything, brick by brick. I had to learn to look at myself in the mirror again, to trust people again, to love myself again. His heart raced, but his voice remained firm. And now you show up here, 3 years later, asking for help. And you know what the worst part is? You're not asking because you regret what you did to me. You're asking because you need to, because you're out of options. I do regret it, Leo. I swear I do. Do you regret cheating on me? Or do you regret the consequences? Chloe didn't answer, and in that silence, Leo had his answer. Leo stood up and walked to the edge of the balcony. Chloe, I wish you and your baby well. I really do. He turned to her. But I can't help you. What? Leo, please. I have no one. You did. You had me. You had your family. You had Ryan. And you made choices. You chose to cheat on me, chose to humiliate me, chose to throw it all away. His voice remained calm. No anger, no hatred, just facts. Ryan made choices too. He chose to betray his best friend. He chose to laugh in my face. And when things got tough, he chose to abandon you. Leo crossed his arms. And now you're here, asking me to clean up the mess you two made, asking me to be the good guy, the guy who was always enough of a sucker to take anything. That's not it. Yes, it is, Chloe. That's exactly what it is. You came because I'm the last resort. Because you know I was always too nice, always easy to manipulate. He looked her in the eye through the glass door, saw Maya watching, and that gave him strength. But I'm not that guy anymore. I've learned to respect myself. And people who hurt me don't deserve to be in my life, no matter the reason. Leo walked to the glass door and opened it. I hope you find a solution. But that solution isn't me. Chloe stood there for a moment in shock. You're not going to help me? No. But I have no one. And I'm not responsible for that. Leo walked to the living room. Chloe followed him. Please, please, Leo. There's the shelter, there's social services, there's legal aid. There are plenty of options, just not me. He opened the front door of the apartment. Chloe looked at Maya. You turned him against me, didn't you? Maya didn't answer. She just looked at Chloe with a neutral expression. Don't blame her, Leo said. This decision is mine alone. It always was. Chloe realized she wasn't going to get anywhere. Before leaving, she turned back. One day you're going to need someone, Leo, and you'll have no one. If that day comes, Chloe, I'll have her, Leo said, pointing to Maya. And that's more than I could ever ask for. Chloe left. Leo closed the door. He stood there, his back to the door, taking a deep breath. He heard Chloe crying on the other side. He heard her footsteps fading away, and then silence. Leo stood there, processing everything that had just happened. Had he done the right thing? And then he felt two arms wrap around him from behind. Maya, you did the right thing. Leo turned and hugged her. Are you sure? Absolutely. You don't owe her anything, Leo, and helping her now would just validate everything she did. It would be like saying it's all okay, that you can hurt people and then just come back whenever you need something. She looked into his eyes. You protected your peace. You protected our peace, and that's the most important thing. Leo rested his forehead against hers. Thank you for being here. Always. Leo and Maya went to the couch. They sat together. She took his hand. How are you feeling? Relieved. I thought I was going to feel bad, guilty, but I just feel relieved. It's because you did what was right for you. You don't think I was cruel? No, I think you were fair. There's a difference. Maya turned her body toward him. She had 3 years to make peace with you, 3 years to apologize. And she did nothing. She only showed up now because she needs something. She squeezed his hand. If she had shown up a year ago, not pregnant, not needing anything, just to genuinely apologize, maybe it would be different. But that's not what happened. And what if something happens to her or the baby? It won't be your fault. Leo, you're not responsible for her choices. These are the consequences of their actions, not yours. She held his face in her hands. You've spent 3 years rebuilding yourself. And now, the first time someone from your past came back, you stood your ground. I'm so proud of you. Leo felt his eyes sting. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. Because you're strong. You always have been. You just needed to remember that. They kissed. A long, calm, comforting kiss. Leo looked around the apartment he had bought, with the money he had earned, next to the woman he loved. And he realized he didn't feel any weight anymore. He felt peace, real peace. I love you. I love you too. And in that moment, Leo knew he had won. Not because Chloe was miserable, but because he was okay. Life went on, and it only got better. 6 months after the confrontation with Chloe, Leo and Maya opened the 5th gym in their chain. It was the biggest one yet. 3 floors, state-of-the-art equipment, a CrossFit area, a combat sports area, a Pilates studio. It even had a kids' play area for those who needed to work out and had no one to leave their children with. The grand opening was a huge event. Over 200 people were there, long-time clients, suppliers, the local press, and people who had transformed themselves at their gyms. During the party, Leo got up on the small stage and took the microphone. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. 4 years ago, I weighed 325 pounds. I was depressed. I never left the house. I thought I was worthless until I joined a gym and met this woman right here. He looked at Maya. She believed I could be better, and she gave me the tools to do it. Today, I weigh 185 pounds. I have a successful company. I'm married to the woman of my dreams, and I can say that I'm happy. He paused. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that it's possible. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It's possible to start over. It's possible to change. It's possible to be happy. So thank you for believing in our work. And remember, you are worth it. You always have been. The audience applauded. He stepped off the stage and Maya hugged him tight. You're amazing. We're amazing. 2 months later, Leo was at the office when he received a letter with no return address. He opened it. It was from Chloe. He recognized the handwriting. Leo, the baby was born. He's a boy and he's healthy. I got a spot in a housing program. I'm working at a store. Things are still hard, but I'm getting by. Thank you for not helping me. You forced me to save myself. For the first time in my life, I did it on my own. I hope you're very happy with Maya. Chloe. Leo read the letter twice. Then he folded it and put it in his drawer. He wasn't going to reply. He didn't need to, but he was happy to know she was okay. That the baby was okay, that she had learned. That night, Leo and Maya were on the apartment balcony, sitting side by side, watching the sunset paint the sky, orange and pink. Are you happy? Maya asked. Very. And you? More than I ever thought possible. They were silent for a while, just appreciating the moment. You know what's funny? Leo said. 4 years ago I thought my life was over, that I'd never be happy again, that I was worthless. He looked at Maya. And today, I look at my life and realize it was the best thing that could have happened, because if I hadn't gone through all that, I never would have found you. I never would have found myself. Maya rested her head on his shoulder. Sometimes you have to fall apart completely to put yourself back together the right way. Yeah, and I put myself back together the right way. Leo looked at the horizon, at the sky painted with colors, at the calm sea. And for the first time in his life, he wasn't afraid of the future. He wasn't bitter about the past. He had no doubts about himself. He just felt gratitude. Gratitude for having survived, for having fought, for having found true love. And he finally understood that it had always been worth it. From the very beginning. And Did you like this story? Do you think Leo was right to refuse to help Chloe? Do you think his transformation was just physical, or was it deeper? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next story.